Welcome back to the Two Takes podcast. I am your host, David Ohan, joined with my co-host, Nick, the man, the way, Tread Way. How are we doing today?
Wow, David, that was great. I'm doing good. We're both coming off of a great spring break, and just glad to be back in the swing of things on the back half of a great second round weekend of the NCAA men's basketball March Madness tournament.
Yeah, definitely great. Amazing. We all love March Madness. We love making incorrect picks, and when your champion goes down in round of 32 because the dumbass named Xavier Lee doesn't know how much time's left and decides to throw the worst pass and even put up a layup. So that's how my March Madness bracket got ruined. Yeah.
Well, as you can tell, David's salty about that. Me, unless when it has to do with Bama, I don't think anyone should repeat in national championships. And so, once I saw that Florida was, David was looking at the picture of all of our consecutive years that we've won a championship in football here in Alabama. So that was kind of funny. I wish y'all could see that. But when I'm watching another team that isn't Bama, always hate watching and can't wait till they get knocked out. And Florida did get knocked out this weekend, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. That was the picture I was talking about right there. Yeah. Okay, so that was kind of a bad example. I said like a team shouldn't win back to back. We have not seemed to have won back to back.
Yeah, we have 2011, 2012. I was making sure.
Oh, yes, we did. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, so as you can see, we're split on reactions on Florida losing. I think it's funny. I think it's great for the program. But obviously, I could see how that could be detrimental because obviously we were Alabama. We won the Natty last year. We get knocked out in that fashion in the second round. I would be pretty upset. So,
I feel like that's a real last chance the SEC has at winning the national championship. Sorry.
Yeah, so you can see how our conversation about our preview against Michigan is going to go. We'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, no, great weekend. I mean, the first game that comes to my mind right now for the second round, that Vanderbilt Nebraska game. My gosh, you couldn't tell me that Nebraska would lead the whole time. I think when I started watching it, it was, I think Nebraska was up by just a couple of points. This is during the first half. And I mean, oh my gosh. And I mean, just talk about what a home game it was for Nebraska. Just any camera shot that took that stadium, that arena, just full of Nebraska fans.
Big Red really showed out for Nebraska. They led 76% of the time. What a great game. It was probably the best game of the weekend, in my opinion. I know Florida versus Iowa was also a great game, but this Vanderbilt Nebraska just kept going back and forth. Commodores never lost a step in trying to swing and just fight back. And even at the end, the last shot behind the half court line went in and out. And that's when my heart sunk because down goes my next Sweet 16 team. So,
well, not only talk about being selfish, David. Not only your heart's sunk, David. That player who threw that ball up and watched it go in and go back. Well, not watched it almost go in and then go back out. His heart definitely sunk because I blinked my eyes and he was on the ground on his back. I mean, that emotion that he had after he missed that, I couldn't help but feel for him.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. But that's just such a crazy way to get knocked out of the tournament.
Yeah, I know. And I thought Vanderbilt had a chance of going to the Elite Eight. I thought, like, a lot of people were talking about them beating Florida. I know this is all hypotheticals because none of this happened. But Vanderbilt, I picked them to win. I picked them to lose to Florida. But I knew a lot of people that picked them to beat Florida after beating them in the SEC championship.
Well, Vanderbilt's a good team, so it makes sense.
Oh, yeah, and I remember beginning of the season, I believe one of Vanderbilt's great players are hurt, and they were on a 17-0, 16-0, and they barely lost to Florida earlier in the year. And a team can change and evolve, and we saw in the SEC tournament they may have been Florida's kryptonite until Iowa recently. But yeah, a lot of people had them going pretty far, and now I feel like that South region that has Nebraska and Iowa, which is a crazy game, which we'll get into, and Houston, Illinois, I feel like it's now definitely Houston's region to win, and the Sweet 16 Elite Eight will be played in Houston. So I guarantee you that Big Red will not be that big of a factor in Houston. I feel like it'll go to the Cougars' home court advantage. We'll see how big they show up
Easy. Give Nebraska some grace because they seem to travel well. Where was that last game at? I forgot. I knew about it, and I was going to highlight it here on the podcast. All right, so while our stats guy figures that out,
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, Nebraska traveled well for that. I mean, that's not too far from Nebraska. That's like Nebraska. That's like 2 states under, I think.
I believe so.
I think Kansas is in between them.
But you have to
Maybe.
also think about it. Houston is 15 minutes away
So
from Houston.
it should be evenly matched because I mean, it just seemed like that Vanderbilt Nebraska game was just in Omaha. By the way, that stadium looked.
That is true. But you know what? Also,
I feel like
shout
they'll
out.
travel well. I think the announcers commented about that during the game too.
Oh, yeah, but shout out Nebraska getting their first ever tournament win.
Yes.
It's the last major conference team to get their final win in the tournament. They defeated Troy, put belt to ass on them, just like Bama did to Texas Tech, getting their first win. And then now moving to the Sweet 16, potentially a lot of people are picking them to beat their rival Iowa and go to the Elite Eight. So imagine winning your first NCAA tournament ever, and now
then you get a chance to beat your rival
and go to the Elite Eight and potentially the Final Four. I know we're getting too ahead of ourselves.
Right?
But
always a possibility.
The exciting whites of Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, could be going to the Final Four.
Wow, I never thought you'd hear it, right? And so, I mean, that was the first game that comes to my mind when I think about the second round of this tournament, and it just kicked off. I know a lot of people are saying like this is not as exciting. There's not a lot of upsets. There's not, it's like what kind of tournament is this year? And I feel like a lot of people like I feel like this is a pretty good year for games and how it's going and stuff. I mean, last year's defending champion got knocked out. I mean, what more can you ask for?
100%. I believe like this tournament. I was thinking, okay, round of 32 and on will be great because of NIL money. They'll make it more competitive as these bigger teams like a Texas, who's now going to the Sweet 16 as an 11 seed.
We'll talk about that.
But that's not really a Cinderella team. Texas has a lot of money, got that oil money, has everything. But I still, in my bracket, I know I'm going to get a lot of shit and shade for this. There were I picked all one season to be in the Final Four because that's how it was last year. And I was like, not that March Madness was dead, but I thought the teams that were great were going to be great. And apparently Iowa decided and Bennett Sturts decided, hell no, we're going to make this fun again. And I feel like it just brought back the March Madness feeling. And I love it. And I think in my second chance bracket that we get it. Thank God there's a second chance opportunity to make here. I could have some upsets. One of my favorite teams, and I know we'll get into it, is Arkansas. Fortunately, they have to play Arizona, but that Arkansas team is just so much fun to me, and I just feel like
there's
going to be a lot of
or unfortunately.
Unfortunately, they have to play Arizona.
Yeah.
And then you know what? Alabama's still dancing. We'll see how long they dance.
We'll talk about that in a sec.
I know, and yeah, I guess we'll also go through the first round games right now.
Yes.
Alabama played Hofstra, won by 20, looked awful the first half.
Yeah,
they were
down.
Up by a lot. Then Hofstra went on a big run, and we were able to claw back in, lead by 2 at the end of the first half. And second half, we just got put it on because I know the NCAA tournament uses Wilson balls, and we played with Nike balls the whole time, and I know that could be a factor.
I mean, wow. Yeah.
And how overinflated they can be.
I believe he just pulled that out of his butt.
But I just think Alabama may be on a roll here, and that looks great for the Crimson Tide and us. Well, let's talk about this Wisconsin versus High Point game.
Yes.
High Point upsets Wisconsin.
Shout out High Point.
Shout out High Point, like Charles Barkley said, with Chase Johnston hitting the game winner, has made 69 threes in his career with 0 2-pointers up to that point where he made the game-winning layup. Just imagine your first ever 2-point shot made in your collegiate career or even the season is a game winner to upset the number 5 seed Wisconsin team.
I mean, that kid, it's got to be like, how do you even fathom like thinking about that after the game is over? Like, I couldn't. I'd pass out.
You'd pass out?
Probably so from the excitement. That's a lot of like you're it's not like he's in high school where he's going to go back tomorrow and like everyone's going to be like, oh my god, like he's going to be. It's not a popularity contest for them anymore because they're not in high school. But like you still got to feel good about yourself after that.
100%. I know a lot of people had Wisconsin, who I believe they did get matched up with Arkansas, but I like this Wisconsin team a lot. I picked them to win, and because of Nick Boyd and John Blackwell and how good they've played, but they still played great. But just High Point never shied away from it, and they just kept digging and digging and never they got down by I think 8 points, 8 or 9 points and still came back and won. And I just think a great win for High Point. I
Yeah.
believe it's located in North Carolina to
Yes.
upset the Badgers.
Um, uh, sorry.
Also, North Carolina did blow an 18-point lead when leading 12-27 left in the second half, with Henry Vassar making a 27-foot three-point jumper. Nick, what are your thoughts on this game and how North Carolina lost it? Their largest lead was 19. They led 77% of the game and didn't have that many turnovers, but just could not handle it, not able to grasp the win in the end.
Unfortunate for Chapel Hill. And so I know it sucks to like be up 19, like at one point in the game, and you still end up losing in the end. That's why they always say, like when you're watching basketball, like you see a team that has a lead, but you also got to look at the time too, because there's so much creative ways that you can choke. And unfortunately, the Tar Heels did that um, in their first round game. And so I don't know, just another heartbreak. And it happens in the tournament. That's why you start with 64 games and you only get to 2 in the end. So, I mean, I don't have much to say on that. Just sucks for the Tar Heels. I know a friend that, is a Tar Heels fan and, they're gonna be alright.
Yeah, unfortunately, they definitely go down hard. Sad way for the Tar Heel Nation to go down and not even get a chance to even make a run, and it's so sad that they lost Caleb Wilson, who will definitely be gone after this year. He's a great player, and I'm excited to see what he does. And I guess let's now jump into the second round with Iowa defeating Florida. Nick, your thoughts on this game and how Iowa looked like the better team against this great, huge Florida team who has probably the best front court in the whole nation, and how they got out physical and out manhandled by Iowa, it felt like.
Yeah, and, David, correct me if I'm wrong, and Imma double check this while I'm talking as well. The game started, and I believe Florida's either only lead or one of their only leads was when the scoreboard said Florida had 8, Iowa had 7. And I think from that point forward, Iowa led this game, which I'm gonna double check as I'm talking, but sets the tone for how the game went. I mean, also had a couple of conflicts going on during this game too. Two double texts that happened as well. And so uh, text always gets the game going. It's going to be a good game when you see a tech, much less a double tech. And so Iowa just really they, I mean, they really had the game in their hands from the jump. That's my point here. And I mean, in
Largest
most cases, in games where that happens, it's kind of hard to lose control of it as long as you keep playing your ball. Yeah. And what were you going to say?
Oh, yeah, and they led largest lead. Florida largest lead was 4. Iowa's was 12, and they led for 66% of this game. Like you said, double text at the start. It was the coaches were getting chippy in the beginning.
Yes.
You knew it was a different atmosphere, and this Iowa-led team with first-year head coach looked great. Bennett Stritz looked great for them. Banks looked great, having 20 points, and they just felt like they just handled themselves against Florida so well, and they never shied away from they were more physical team, and Florida is known for their big men and physicality, and it just felt like they never got going. I know Condon had 21, but this Florida team I thought was going to go all the way, and evidently no. Iowa, the little little seed, little guys from the Big Ten, are able to dethrone Florida. They were 10-10 in the Big Ten, and Florida was number one at SEC. Now they get a chance to beat their rival in a rubber match. And I remember when Iowa played Nebraska in Iowa, the fans rushed the court, and Nebraska's coach, who has a pacemaker, a fan used a flashlight, which can set off the pacemaker, and the Nebraska coach swiped it away. I know Iowa facilities all apologize for that, but this game has a lot of and like a lot of animosity, and I'm excited for this game. I don't know who's gonna win, but I think it'll be another classic.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to that Iowa Florida point, Florida late in the game did have about a 3-point lead over Iowa late in this, about halfway through the second half. And then obviously as the game went, uh, Iowa kind of climbed back in front there. It went back and forth actually for the rest of the game. And so obviously until the set game where, and he just turned it over in the game. So unfortunate for Florida.
I just wish they would have got a shot off. I can't believe that they didn't even get a shot off.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell the kid from Princeton, supposed to be one of the most Ivy League schools, was doing. And he said to pass the ball, just at least get the. I thought it when I saw him go under the rim, I was like, okay, we're shooting a reverse layup. Weird, but you do you, buddy.
Yeah. No,
And then I
exactly.
see pass it off, and there wasn't even the shot. It reminded me of my high school state championship game when
All
we
right.
came back and we were down by one, and Chit Chat Wright, who is actually plays for Iowa women's basketball, shout out to her, passes the ball and it hits off one of I'm not going to name the player, one of our players' fingertips, and it was supposed to be intended for another girl that was right behind her. And the other team, Hebron stole the ball and walked off with a championship for us to lose. And that's just how it felt. Is they didn't even get a shot. They didn't even get a punch to throw
No.
to even land. And that's just how the cookie crumbled. And Florida goes down, and back-to-back national champions go down in the first weekend. And I just think, yeah, March Madness is back and it feels ready. I know I'm unfortunately done and out of my little tournament challenge with a good amount of people. So I'm down $10 and a bag of change, I guess. And let's just jump into, I
One
guess,
second. I just try to double check this real quick. How to in the Florida game ended. Um. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So the last big play of the game, besides them not getting the shot off, Iowa's three from I don't know how you say his last name. First name Alvaro, number I don't know what his number was. But he gets the 3 point
it's
out of the timeout.
number seven, full Gearis.
Bulgaris. Iowa takes a timeout, and then Florida gets the ball on the baseline, and literally just doesn't get a shot off by the time the clock runs out, and it's just ridiculous. That's how the game ended. Okay, I was trying to remember if it was off a turnover or anything, or kind of got blurry there how it
Mm-hmm.
ended.
Yep.
No, it's just the standard. You go from the baseline, you go make a shot, and how much time is left. They just didn't execute that, and that's how they lost. So that's unfortunate. But I was just trying to make sure I completely remember what happened there, and now it's my second time reliving that. It's so bad for Florida again. Just we can move on. Gosh,
I'm glad. I'm glad I can think about it again.
for Florida fans' sake and David's sake, let's move on.
Yeah, chomp on, baby. God, that's why I never put
Yeah,
faith
and
in a
also
Florida
saw the
team.
videos of don't know which player it was, but as he's shaking their hands after the game, he's gator chomping.
Hey,
Saw the videos all over Twitter.
another hypothetical FSU win there for the Seminoles.
Right. Oh, I bet they're so happy.
Oh, I know a couple fans that were really happy.
That's how Ronald's put, y'all.
Yep. But now
Auburn can't wait till we get out.
let's jump into the other probably the other great game, St. John's versus Kansas.
Yes.
With Kansas losing by 2 on a buzzer beater, the only buzzer beater to win the game yet from Dylan Darling, who that was his only bucket in the game, was the game-winning layup,
Yes.
and he drawed up a high pick and roll. He told Coach Patino, and I remember hearing Coach Patino talk about this, hearing his player call that play and realized he doesn't have a bucket yet, and he just called a play for himself. And just knowing how experienced Coach Rick Pitino is and how great of a coach he is by letting his player do him and giving the all faith in the guy that has had no points, was 0 for 5, 0 for 4 that day, hadn't made a shot, hadn't even attempted a 2-pointer yet, and just let him do him. And for him and for Dylan Darling just to walk it off and beat Kansas, sending Dylan Peterson home early. Now only 2 of the 5 top remaining picks remaining, and Cam Boozer and Kingston Fleming, with AJ DeBonta going home early, Caleb Foster's team going home early, and now Darren Peterson not able to do enough. And he had a pretty good game, 21 points, 4 blocks from the kid. Wow, I love that as a guard. That's great, but shot 5 for 15, which wasn't amazing, but had 8 for 10 free throws. Nick, talk about the St. John's team and how they just look to keep going, and Zuby Ejiofor and Bryce Hopkins, how they led the way for the Johnnies.
Yeah, St. John's from a stat standpoint, kind of matched up with Kansas and the amount of 3 pointers that they made. So that wasn't the difference in the game there. They kind of matched up. St. John's with 31%, Kansas with a little bit more, 36%, but that's still around the same. And so, I mean, I think the difference here is really because it's just neck and neck in the end there, and it's just another one of those games.
Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't mean to
oh,
shake
okay.
my head.
Come on, David. I know what I'm talking about. Uh, another one of these March Madness tournament games where it's just neck and neck there at the end, and one play makes a difference. And for this game with Florida, it was being able to not make a bucket one time while time was going out, and for St. John's, it was making a bucket while the time's running out. And so, a really good game to watch. I love these games being close in the end. Uh, but oh Jesus, says here Kansas we're just leading the game with three.
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot about that. St. John's was up most of the game.
yeah, 93% of the time they
Yeah,
led,
yeah.
and
And so, I mean, good on St. John's. I mean, that's a good win from them. That was an upset. St. John's being 5, Kansas being 4. That's a great win.
you feel like that was an upset.
The seeding standpoint is an upset, all right? I will say it, while I was watching that game, I was like, because I normally kind of feel towards the team that should upset. In my case, while I was watching that game yesterday, it was Kansas. Even with Kansas's history and being champions, you know, always love watching a quote unquote upset. And so, like, which I feel that was this Iowa and Florida game
That was
that we
definitely
talked
an
about. That was
upset.
an upset. But yeah, I mean, St. John's up the whole time, got it done, and love the fact that like the cameras didn't get him hugging this kid at all. I mean, the game winner. And me and my friend, I was joking. I was like, yeah, the post halftime huddle was just probably like, yeah, all right, moving on now. Yeah, congratulations. All right, moving on. You guys all played great. You especially, good game winner. But you know, I'm sure you got some love though. That's just me and my friend being funny yesterday. But kudos to the Red Storm. So,
Yeah, Johnny's moving on, having a chance to get to play the Duke Blue Devils, who they match up with.
oh, we got all the ones I watched anyway. Oh,
So now let's jump into March Madness second chance bracket and our predictions for the weekend ahead, the slate, and moving on to next weekend, Final Four, and who we think is going to be there. Let's jump in to, I believe, the East region, where Duke takes on St. John's, the 1 versus 5 seed. Duke opens up as a 6.5-point favorite, coming to take St. John's down in Washington, D.C., where they beat Michigan. And also, fun fact, whenever the Duke Blue Devils have beat St. John's, they have went on to win the national championship. Nick, what are your thoughts, and who are you taking here, either St. John's or Duke?
well, for my brackets case, I should take Duke here because I do have Duke going in the Natty. But in my bracket, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like the St. John's can keep dancing. I don't know. This will be an interesting game here. I feel like out of all of the games that I'm looking at for the sweet, I'm sorry, for the Sweet 16, this one looks to be, at least for me, the most telling about the team. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that as I'm looking at all these games. And so I don't know. I think it's a pretty. I'm not sure how they match up with each other. Technically, I can look into that after the podcast. But from a how good the team is standpoint and how they've been playing in the past, I think they kind of match up. So
Who are you taking?
taking to win, yeah, I was kind of skating around that. I gotta go with my bracket here. I got Duke.
Duke winning?
Yeah,
All right. Duke right now is trying to get Caleb Foster. It's an outside chance he comes back. He has not been available since the start of the ACC tournament. What the matchup I'm really looking forward to is Cam Boozer versus Zuby Ejiofor in the defensive battle. Boozer leads Duke with 22 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 4.2 assists, while Edgeford leads St. John's with 16.5 points, 7.3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2 blocks per game. Ejiofor is also the Big East Defense Player of the Year. I believe Duke is also number one in KenPom, adjusted defense efficiency, holding teams to only 63.1 per game, and the Red Storm are 58th with holding teams to 69.8. And the last 10 opponents, Duke has led to lower than 70 points, and just 3 of its last 21 opponents has even reached the mark. I believe Duke needs to protect the ball in this game to win, not have its season high turnovers was 22 coming against Lipscomb on December 22nd. And I believe if they have 10 turnovers or less, they will get it done. Rick Pitino's team, I believe, will fight strong. I think the real battle will be Edgeford versus Boozer. Can Boozer get going? Can Caden Boozer versus St. John's guards? I think that would be the big tell, but I believe Duke will escape narrowly in this game with a big men battle, either Edgeford versus Boozer. We'll see who comes out on top, but I have the Blue Devils moving on to face either Michigan State versus UConn. Nick, who do you have in that game? And I will say UConn does come in 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
And they are the Big East runner-up while Michigan State went down early.
Yeah.
Both teams are coming in with 2 legendary coaches with Tom Izzo and Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
Nick, who do you like for this game? Do you believe UConn's trying to win 3 national championships in 4 years, or do you think the party ends with the Spartans taking down the Huskies?
I don't really have big high hopes with the Spartans ending their hopes and then UConn's hopes. So give me UConn.
Taking UConn, okay. Yeah. I actually had the Spartans losing to USF. I wish I didn't take that USF team.
Also did have USF beating. I don't know what it was. I think it's the fact that we play them every year because Nate Oates' old assistant is over there. I think that's what got me to go for USF in the bracket, and so that messed me up there. Didn't have Michigan State was far, and so. But to prove my former bias and to satisfy even more, I have UConn. So.
That's fair. USF, actually, their head coach just signed with Providence.
Really? Okay.
Yes. But I don't know. I love this matchup. Get to see UConn, Dan Hurley versus Izzo. Both of them are great coaches, historical coaches. I know Jeremiah Fears Jr. came off a 16 assist game against Louisville. I don't think he'll be able to do that against UConn and that Husky defense that is very suffocating. They're ranked top 10 in defensive efficiency. And I think they get it done in a pretty – I think they cover. I think they cover the spread of 2.5 points. I think they win by, I'd say, 7 or more.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's jump down to the South region. Or, excuse me, let's not jump there. Let's go to Arizona versus Arkansas. Let's go through the Saturday games first. Nick, who do you have in this game? And I will say Arizona comes in. They open as 9.5-point favorites. Right now they're sitting at 7.5-point favorites over the Razorbacks. Razorbacks did go on to win, but this is Big 12 champion and the SEC champion. Nick, who is your thoughts? Arizona comes in 34-2. Arkansas is 28-8.
Obviously with, Arizona, Arkansas not being the favorites, I mean, underdog here. I don't know. Bracket aside, because I think my bracket pick towards the Final Four and the championship is a little bit wonky and a little bit on feelings based and not ball knowledge. Aside from what I have Arkansas going, I think I'm going to have to favor Arizona here when it comes to the ball because I mean Arkansas. I remember when we played Arkansas. We already talked about that on a former podcast, on a former episode. But I don't know. I think Arizona's just been things have been going how they have wanted it to go most of their season, compared to Arkansas. And I think Arizona comes into this game. I mean, I remember their last couple of games before this. Beating that was Utah State. Long Island. I mean, some kind of lightweight teams to play, obviously. And so, but also so is Arkansas as well, which is, only playing Hawaii and High Point. And so, I think Arizona comes into this game more prepared and more ready to play their game. I think I got them winning.
Yeah, I'm kind of gonna agree with you. I love this Arkansas team. I love watching Darius Acuff cook. I got to see him drop 49 on Alabama, losing to
still
Alabama.
Is. Right.
Yes, but I believe Arizona just has this is what I believe with every top seed is the big men.
Yeah.
They have great big men. Yaxel Lindenberg on Michigan, Koa Pete, Toby Awaka
Uh-huh.
for Arizona. And then they have Jaden Bradley, who used to play at Alabama. And I know they are one of the teams with the most amount of players from their own team instead of using the transfer portal. Michigan, all transfer portal players. Arizona, only one guy coming from Alabama who won Big 12 Player of the Year, Jaden Bradley. I don't believe Arkansas has enough firepower. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They do have enough firepower. I don't think they have the defensive firepower. I know Brazil is a great player. I know he's a great defender, and I know he'll give a Waka and Koa Pete a hard time, but I just think they get it done, and I think they hold the Razorbacks back. And maybe the Razorbacks come up and upset them, but I wish Arkansas did not run into this buzzsaw that is the Wildcats now that I believe may be the favorite behind Duke to win it all and maybe my pick to win it all as we get down to here. So I will take Arizona not to cover in a close game with Acuff dropping 30 or more
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, no, exactly it. So, all right. Looking at the next game, Texas and Purdue. You got one team, Texas. It's been on a run, a mini run here. I mean, getting all these wins and where they need it, obviously. And then Purdue getting their win over Miami and also that college in North Carolina that goes by the name of Queens. And so Texas, obviously, we played them, and it was here in Tuscaloosa as well. And that was just one of the games. That's just one, not not a crazy frustrating loss, but still frustrating.
Alabama's Daddy Bowl, is this what this game's going to be called? I don't even want to call it that because
Oh
we're a
gosh,
better team than Texas.
yeah, but Texas, I mean, just can't. They did everything right. They had, you know, not everything right, but they had a lead on us most of the game, and we just couldn't catch back up to them. They ended up winning the game. Texas has had some games like that. I mean, just playing. I mean, especially their last game against Gonzaga. I mean, winning there in the end, getting I think it was really close, and then in the end, there they got like got back to back shots, just putting them up to 74, final score 74-68. Uh, I'm really liking Texas's run here, and as far as Purdue goes, I feel like I'm biased. I didn't watch the Purdue Miami game, but I feel like just watching Texas and seeing how they play these last few games, I'm going towards Texas here.
Nick, I hate Purdue. I picked them to lose Miami.
And you're about to pick them. You're
Listen,
ridiculous.
listen, that stupid train horn, that whatever, Braden Smith, I don't like you. I don't but
Oh
I
my
know
gosh.
as an analyst or a future analyst, as a broadcaster, you can't be biased, can't be emotional with your picks so often. Braden
Yeah, that's
Smith,
what the bracket's for.
I know, and I went emotional on some of these picks. Some of them did pay off. Braden Smith breaking Hurley's record of 1,077 career assists,
No, you're not.
and they beat on their route when they kick Queen's ass. They come in as a 6.5 point favorite going against number 11 seed Texas. They were preseason ranked number 1, came in and beat Alabama number 1, lost 7 out of their last 13 games going into the tournament, won the Big Ten tournament, kind of on a heater. Everything's telling me they had the path, and this senior group with Lover, Kaufman, and Smith is the only thing they want is a national title. And listen, only thing they're going to get is a Sweet 16 entry. Longhorns don't have any chance really to win it. I think they get it done. I think they continue the heater. Get horns up. Give me Texas
Oh,
to
what? Okay.
upset Purdue, beating them, ending the careers of Smith, Lover, and Kaufman, taking down the
I thought you were going the opposite
Boilermakers.
way there.
So Boilermaker down. SEC
Okay.
lives on.
Yeah, I'd be worried there for a second. I thought you were just doing it for the plot. But all right. All right. Yes. No, I completely 100% agree.
Swain and Kurlovskis are going to get it done for Texas,
Yeah.
and they will. Well, they're 6.5 point underdogs, so they'll cover anyway. And I'm taking the money line, which is plus 260. Texas. Texas beats Purdue 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 our time
Yeah.
on Thursday night.
About time. And so moving now to the South region, we got Iowa. We were just talking about, like, yeah, we kind of hinted at this a little bit earlier. Well, we got Iowa and Nebraska, right? So obviously, we just talked about this game. Iowa coming off a great win over Florida, defending national champion, and then we got Nebraska going down to Houston. Thanks, David. Houston. We just already talked about this, and so Sweet 16. Got a lot of facts in this episode. I got to make sure I'm right about.
Probably the whitest game in the tournament that will be played.
Yeah, we already hinted at this game earlier. Iowa, Nebraska. It's going to be in Houston. Like I said, Nebraska fans are going to travel well because this is just the first in history for them.
Rubber match between these two rivals, both coming in
And
1-1.
We talked about it earlier. Yeah, how cool is it that you get to get a postseason win and then you get a chance to play your rival to get another postseason win? This is awesome. I mean, kind of. As much as I hate Auburn, kind of wish we could see them and just beat them one more time and get another postseason win. It just means so much more. This is what it's going to be like for Nebraska or Iowa, whoever gets it done. Obviously, I got to pick though, and so I am. Iowa really surprised me in the Florida game. I just wouldn't think, it'd be one thing if Iowa won and like they were down most of the game, not even like down. Like if it was a close game, they won. That's one thing, but they were up and they were up for most of the game. And even when Florida came back and led for a little bit, Iowa came back themselves and, put it into the game with the help of Florida there in the end. I'm going to keep jabbing at that because I know David hates it. But the point is Iowa surprised me. And, but also Nebraska did too, playing Danny though. I think the game that I was most impressed with, I will say, is Nebraska. David's giving me a middle finger right now because of my comments about Florida. Couldn't care less. But Nebraska leading the whole game against Vandy, for the most part. And I don't know, that's just really impressive, coming from their conference and their area of the world where they're at, and we could talk about, the SEC bias or whatever. But I mean, just to go and play the team that beat the SEC. Actually, we got a crazy thing here. I just realized I'm comparing Vandy and Iowa right now, but those are both teams that have recently beat Florida. So now I'm stuck here. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on this game?
Yeah, well, you heard the last thing I said, right? Like I'm stuck between figuring out which game had played,
and who your pick is.
Iowa game or was it Nebraska Vandy game? Because both Iowa and Vandy beat Florida. Right. And so, which Florida, my eyes for most of the season was just this team that, can get it done pretty much. Because obviously they dropped it to Auburn in Auburn. And, they had a couple other losses too. And that just happens when you play so many games with basketball. I said this yesterday. But in my eyes, during the regular season, Florida was this team that I thought they were going to be national contenders again. So with, Iowa showing out and playing Florida and getting their win, and also Nebraska coming out and just beating Vandy, another team that's beating Florida. Where do you kind of view this?
Nick, you got some pretty eyes there, and I like it. This is definitely a rubber match between two schools that hate each other. Ben McCollum coaching Iowa and Nebraska coach Fred Hoiberg, both great coaches, both talented coaches with talented rosters, older rosters we're seeing. I feel like when you have an older team, you do better in the tournament. The hatred between these two schools, this is bad blood. I'm excited. This is kind of like, I know I heard Dan Hurley say, we want St. John's to win so it can be a bloodbath, so we can kick their ass. And this is what these two schools dream of. One of them gets to knock their rival out of the tournament, send them home. Nebraska could move on to the Elite Eight. Iowa could move on to the Elite Eight as a 9 seed.
Yeah.
I think
that's crazy.
Bennett Stritz and his talent and what they've done, leading Iowa with 20 points per game. And I know a lot of times they haven't got help from anybody else, but Tavion Banks helped them out last game with beating Florida. I'm going to take Iowa because last time they played, they forced Nebraska into overtime in Nebraska, and they beat them in Iowa straight up in regulation. Give me Iowa to move on to take the upset. I know the game is, because it's a rivalry game, game plan's gone. You know how both of these teams play. Who's going to adapt? Who's just going to play better at the end of the day? That's why the odds are so close when it's a 4 and 9 seed, because these guys know each other, and it's a 1.5 point It's a 1.5 point spread towards Nebraska. Give me the baby upset and Iowa moving on to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, you said Iowa beat them the first time in
Yes.
Nebraska?
No, beat them at home.
Oh,
Lost to them
in
in
their home
Nebraska.
in Iowa.
Yes, and then
Okay,
lost
I
to
got
them later in the season at
you. Yeah.
Nebraska.
I'm a big believer in it's hard to beat a team twice just because of
Twice in a row or just twice in general?
twice in a row.
Okay.
Because what you're supposed to do if you're and no shade to these coaches, what you're supposed to do if you're a good coach, a good team, you watch film and you learn what you can do better, right? Obviously, I will having won that game, will still go watch film and figure out what was the tiniest thing that they could have done better, obviously. But still, back to my belief, it's hard to beat a team twice. I feel like with using that logic, that would give Nebraska the leg up here in this not a rematch, but kind of is because it's this they're playing each other again. But this time it means more. Obviously, you saw when it meant more, and this is another football reference. When it meant more for us in our rematch against Georgia in the SEC championship, it meant more to Georgia, who lost. Two different teams and two different sports here, but kind of the same idea, right? And so I don't know. I think Nebraska. No, I think Nebraska. I'm gonna go with Nebraska here. I'm gonna be frank. I got Nebraska.
All right, well, I guess we got to see how it
We'll
plays
see.
out. I think it's gonna be a great game. I hope there's a fight. Come on.
Yeah.
I want to see a fight there. I guess we'll go down to the other South region game. Illinois
But,
versus Houston. Houston, basically home court advantage,
yeah,
playing
that's
in
crazy.
Houston. We'll be playing at the Toyota Center where the Rockets play. 3.5 point favorites going against this Illinois team. Having Kingston Fleming, their freshman guard, to lead them probably would be one and done. Illinois does have the number one offense in Ken Palm rating efficiency,
Mhm.
even though Alabama did take them down. Nick, what are your thoughts on this game, and who do you think wins? Do you think the Cougars get it done finally and move on to the Elite Eight, or do you think Illinois will spoil their season and Wagler, who leads the way for them, will take down the Cougars?
I mean, yeah, like you said, we beat Illinois, and then Houston. I don't know. It's gonna be Houston, right?
Give
I
you
mean,
Houston,
they were in the Natty last year, so like I
Kelvin
said, could care
Sampson.
about this game, but give me Houston.
Give you Houston.
Yeah,
Okay. Man, I love me some Cougars there. Older women. Give me Houston to move on and beat
it goes to San
Illinois
Antonio,
in a
right?
pretty low scoring game, holding Illinois back from their high powered offense. I think Kingston Fleming does go off for them, and we'll meet for you. Nebraska for me will meet Iowa
Yeah.
in the Elite Eight. But now let's jump over
Move
to,
over to the Midwest.
I
Oh my
know,
god.
final region, my
Final
favorite
region.
region.
Final region, and it's our favorite for obvious reasons, right?
Hmm.
And so we're gonna talk about this other side of the bracket real quick, the other side of that bracket, that region. And so Tennessee, Tennessee and Iowa State.
I actually have picked this game correctly going into it. I had the Volunteers going to the Sweet 16. They're 4.5 point
You know
underdogs.
what? I think I did too, actually.
I, even though I hate to say it,
Yeah,
pains me to say it, they're underdogs going in against the Cyclones, who are a three-headed dragon with their guards and their play with Monchilovich, Jefferson, and Lipsy.
right. By the
There's
way, the towel thing they were doing after their win against Miami. They were doing it to the reporter and they were doing it to the players. This was after the game, after they won. They were putting towels on the players and they were putting towels on the reporter as he was interviewing them at the end of the game. It was just so funny. I don't even like Tennessee, but I got a laugh out of that. This just shows how happy they were after the game, after the win against Miami, Ohio. And so I just had to mention that there because that's what I instantly remembered as we started talking about them. But no, as you were saying, t-
I
yeah,
Yeah, Iowa State, three-headed dragon. Right now, they're waiting to see if Joshua Jefferson is going to play. I know he had that ankle injury
yeah.
in the first game when they manhandled Tennessee State and then played a Kentucky team who blitzed them, kind of scared them. I was like watching this game while I was driving back to Tuscaloosa off of spring break, and Iowa State, listening to TJ Otzelberger, coach, have a interview, because I know they interview both coaches. It's about 12 minutes, and I believe they were down by more like 15 or 12. And he just said, they made their shots. We haven't. We're going to stop them on defense, and we'll start making shots. And he was poised. This Iowa State team does believe in themselves to get it done. And I like this Cyclones team, but man, this is another one where you can't pick against your love, Tennessee,
And go marching
school
band.
that I wanted and always dreamed of going to. And I love Jacoby Gillespie and that Nate Mint is healthy and he plays healthier and he can go off.
I'm gonna pick Iowa State.
You know what? They sing is good old Rocky Top. I believe and I want it to happen so bad and I want us to win. I wanted a rubber match against Tennessee. I'm going to pick Tennessee. Joshua Jefferson is not available to play for Iowa State. If he is, I will pick Iowa State. But
Mm.
until that comes out clearly, it is in Chicago, Illinois. Give me Tennessee to beat Iowa State. Move on to the Elite Eight to either face Michigan or Alabama. But give me good old Rocky Top and play that dumbass music.
Yeah, well, yeah, and David is teasing it, but inevitably we have to talk about this game, the Michigan Alabama game, right? And so I believe I, I think the Tennessee Iowa State game is the last game that will be figured out. I think.
Who's your pick in the Tennessee Iowa State game?
Oh, skating against that. I got Tennessee as well. I mean, you know, I've seen Tennessee. Also, this is another thing that I got to get better about through these tournaments and everything, making sure I'm watching teams an equal amount. Obviously, sucks for Iowa State. They're not in our conference, so I didn't see them a lot. We also didn't play them twice, like we played Tennessee twice. So going off that, give me Tennessee. Just seeing how they played in the tournament and seeing, I've watched them play during the regular season as well. And I would also love another game, another opportunity to play against them as well. Give me Tennessee. So, but David teased it earlier, and so inevitably we have to talk about this game, the Michigan Alabama game, right? And so,
Am I spelling pot? Am I spelling pot in the
gosh,
area?
and we can't skirt across this story either, right?
Aiden Holloway getting arrested for
Yes,
2.1 pounds of marijuana, zero point 0.1 away from being 15 years in prison.
yes, and obviously this news comes out on the day of selection day, and so 2 days before, 2 days after. No, it came out Sunday.
I swear it came out Tuesday. It may have came out Sunday. It did come out
No,
Sunday.
it came out Sunday. Oh, now you're making me wonder, did it? I swear it did. I swear. Well, while our stats guy double checks that, David. Um, anyways, and I was talking to the an older guy who is from Alabama, and he was like, "Hey, why is it always like we get like these stories about our players like right as the tournament comes out? Like, why
Monday.
does this never come to light?" Oh, okay, my bad. A day after, so we were both wrong. We were both the equal amount of wrong too. We were both a day apart from the right day. Anyways,
You're more wrong than I am, but it's
that's not
fine.
true. He said Tuesday, I said Sunday. And so it was like, why are these stories about our players always coming out around the tournament? Like, well, he was like, why can it not be like during the regular season or things like that? Like, it's always, around. It's always such coincidental timing, right? And so, obviously, that's just a crazy case. I remember the story, first broke out. It was, a lot of people. There's a lot of chatter online about, well, anyways, why would this kid from a legal state go to a place where it's illegal anyway? Anyways, but going back on that, I did mention that I believe weed was not legal in California yet while Aiden was still there, while he still lived there. But anyways, it's one thing to smoke it, and it's also another thing to just completely be running a trap. And so, because he was actively selling it at 2.1 pounds. Like, are you kidding me? Uh,
And little different baggies
little
and
different baggage.
stuff.
Now, another thing I have heard though is that the way that they found this out was completely just not like
Not ethical.
not ethical. They said someone was going through his trash. And, as this gets investigated more and more, and as this coming to light more and more, could be a case where it could, like, some part of it could be thrown out just because of that. Like, why is someone going through the trash? And I remember when I first heard about this and them, like, checking and finding out this stuff, I was like, well, how does this happen? Like, well, where did this search come from? Like, who initiated? What organization initiated it? I don't think it was a university because he lives off campus. And so something was always fishy about this. Even though, hey, Aiden, you can't be selling, like, you can't be a drug dealer in a state where it's illegal to do that. And you didn't do your freaking tax stamp. That's your second charge there too. I think I forgot about that. I mean, Aiden. And so, obviously, as Aiden, as a lot of this is on Aiden too. Something fishy about how this all came about as well. Just unfortunate. And Aiden being our second player, great in these past few games. Also, our first round game and this past second round game, Texas Tech last night. Seeing other players step up when we don't have Aiden has been great to see as well. Just going along the lines of that, Aiden, our best guy I think our best guy at 3-point shooting. Fine line's been a little shaky lately. Kind of getting it sometimes when he needs to, but also, not like every time he shoots, it's like, hey, he might make it. And then he makes it, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes. And then he misses. You're like, it's all right. Us missing Holloway, kind of a divot in that, part. But other guys stepping up, getting their points in the paint, getting their threes as well. Wrightso last night getting his threes. If he plays like that in the Michigan game, I think we got a different game we're talking about then. But proud of these other players stepping up in Holloway's absence.
Who do you have winning?
So Michigan,
they're Michigan's 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah, they are, and it's for good reason too. They match up with us in height, and I mean someone said online that this is playing Michigan's going to be like playing Tennessee, and except Michigan's offense is just way better than Tennessee. And so that's just something we have to be like, obviously, and this has been the running theme since I've been to Alabama. And I think it's just a running thing with Natos is how he runs our team. Our defense, can struggle at times. And, and I think Michigan, with having a good offense, they could expose that a little bit. Obviously, if we rebound as great as we did against Texas Tech last night, and I think that was a little bit on Texas Tech as well, just not rebounding the ball just enough. I think if we rebound as well as we did last night, that could give us an edge in the game. But we can't go and play Michigan with a B- game, a B+ game. I think we need an A, and an A+ would be great. But I mean, come on, we're asking for a lot here. Maybe an A- and win. But we gotta bring like our exemplary ways of playing against this Michigan team if you want to win. That being said, much as it pains me to say it, got to go with Michigan here. Unfortunately, Michigan and has beaten teams that it has played at least by 30 or at most 30 around that ballpark multiple times, and so just Vegas seems to think so too, right? I mean, we're a 10.5-point underdog. Much as it sucks to say, I think with all the injuries, and obviously we didn't know that Aiden Holloway was going to get arrested. I think with all of that happening and all the things that we've gone through this year, us making it to the Sweet 16 is a great coaching job by Nate Oates. And so I'm not mad at being in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, 100%. We're the biggest underdog of the whole Sweet 16.
Yeah.
My favorite Yik Yak, if anybody knows what that is, it's a college thing, was some quotes by Aiden Holloway. My drug dealer got arrested. That one had me laughing. The other one was there was a drug dog searching the team buses, and people were like, don't let that dog come near Alabama. It's going to be drunk by the end of it. Well, man, I don't know what's in the air, but I think Aiden Holloway got me high from this Alabama team. Alabama, largest lead was 34 points against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Wrightso had 24 points. We made 19 threes.
We did.
19 threes, out-rebounded by 12 rebounds, which is nothing we ever do. Feinlein had 12 assists and only 9 points. Our guys stepped up. Our cast stepped up.
Yeah.
We have a 24% chance of beating Michigan. Yaxel Linderberg, Big Ten Player of the Year, looks great. The team looks great. They're down LJ Case in their backup point guard. They looked a little they lost to Purdue.
Yeah.
9.5-point favorites. We go into Chicago. Close to Michigan. It's going to be a Michigan home game. It's a little cold. Nick, I believe. Remember what I said 2 episodes or 3 episodes, whatever episodes ago.
Some bullshit.
That Alabama needs 23s to beat Michigan. Needs an A+ game. Needs a Michigan C- game. Needs Michigan to have a bad game. to win. Listen, who got snubbed from even a chance of winning SEC Player of the Year or one of the best guards of the year? It was LeBaron Philon. LeBaron Philon has a career game. Alabama defeats Michigan to move on in the biggest upset of the Sweet 16 this season. I'm picking Alabama with, I know I shouldn't, but emotional pick that
Wow.
they shoot the lights out. Supporting cast steps up and Philon goes off for 35 points, 8
Wow.
assists, 3 rebounds. Alabama beats
Wow.
Michigan 99-97.
Oh, so yeah, high scoring game. I agree with you on that for sure. And I agree. We need to bring our A+ game. Yeah. You sound just like my bracket. I picked Alabama to win against Michigan in my bracket now.
Oh, I
But
didn't.
bracket's supposed to be emotionally driven. I think that's my point of view. But I think these picks on this podcast needs to be a little bit more realistic, David. But all right. No, and I would love for us to win. And it is possible. 24% chance. 24% chance of rain on Wednesday. I think. Is it going to happen? Maybe so. Right. We'll see. Right. And so,
But Aiden Holloway must have sold me some pretty strong drugs, and I'm believing in
I think David's
Alabama
high.
to go to the Elite Eight and face Tennessee and give that Knoxville ass whooping that needs, and Alabama will advance to the
Would be
Final
nice to
Four.
go to the Final Four again. Would be nice. And it could happen. That's the thing about March Madness. It's madness. That's what I told someone the other day. It's
I'd
madness.
love to go to Indianapolis.
Huh?
I'd love to travel to Indianapolis.
I just feel like, you know what? Yeah, I get to my point that I was about to say in a minute. But I don't know. We just have to, like, the whole theme for the team this week during practice and during, any get together that they have, anytime the coach is talking to them.
Don't sell drugs. Oh wait, my
That
bad.
too.
Not the
And
actual one.
we have to play our best game. We have to play our best game on Friday. This Michigan team means business. And all of the things, our team is just so much capable. Our team is capable of a lot. Everything just has to click, and we just have to make sure they click at the right time. And yes, we can beat them. We can beat them. Emotionally, yes, I'm picking Alabama because that's. I mean, love that team, man. Love them team. I watched them shoot so many threes last night, and it just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. I was like, I was like, Texas. They're playing Texas Tech like it's one of these teams that we schedule in like November and play them, except for Purdue, obviously. But one of these teams that we schedule every year and we play them in November. That's how we played Texas Tech last night.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna get our ass kicked, but I love it. I love it. I'm believing.
Oh my gosh, he's like what's it again? He's like Nick Saban. Yeah, he's like Nick Saban picking Alabama on the picks on game day. So he even had to put that away. He could have just said, "Yeah, I'm taking Alabama."
Oh yeah,
So,
Lord, I'm excited.
yeah.
Be a fun weekend. I know games are Friday.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know we play Friday night. I believe is one of the final games. Nick, I guess your thoughts before we kind of close the show. I guess how you getting ready to look for the week? You're going on a beach trip
Oh yeah.
with the soccer team. You excited about that?
Yeah. We're going to get old Baldwin County in Alabama. Those familiar with Alabama, that's the more beach side of the state. And so we're using that as a beach trip. We're going to be in Orange Beach, Gulf Shores. And we're playing a private school on Saturday. But we'll be watching obviously the Bama game Friday night. Sure will be posted everywhere and every store you walk in and probably watching on my phone. But you know, thinking about the soccer team, I was going to address this earlier when we were just talking about it just now. Would be so nice to reach the Final Four because the last year we reached the Final Four in basketball here in Alabama. It's my first year working with Northridge, and we reached the Final Four in soccer as well. Way after basketball season was over, but I mean, how they do it, Final Four and state championship is always in Huntsville. So that means we were renting this big bus, the same bus we're taking the beach this weekend. We're getting this bus, we're getting hotels in Huntsville. We're eating together. We're doing stuff like that, and it's just like it's like a business trip. It makes you really feel like you're in the playoffs. Like all these playoff games that happens before the Final Four. Sure, it's at the other schools and all that. Like you get to travel to the other schools, you get to host playoff games as well. But nothing is as cool as hopping on the big coach bus and driving to Huntsville and playing in the venue that we play there. Would love to go back this year. Um, I feel like only a certain amount of good things can happen in a year, and so if we make the Final Four in basketball, I'm like, oh geez, it's not looking too good for soccer then. But obviously, that's just superstition, and both could happen, just like it did 2 years ago. So, or neither could happen, just like it did last year. But always hopeful for. Um,
100%. I agree with you. I think if you win the championship, you should bleach your hair.
if we win the state championship, I should
Mhm.
bleach my hair.
They bleach your hair.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm interning at freaking WVUA this summer, and he wants me to go and bleach my hair.
They'd love that. Dana would love
He would
that.
love it.
Yeah, my boss, Dana would love
He would
that.
love
I
it.
have to talk to him tomorrow, but
But yeah, but got to hang out with this fool over the past week, and so for spring break, and so um and then we got a chance to watch some Georgia high school soccer. I drug him to it. He drove though. Thank you, David, for driving. And so he got to sit in Atlanta traffic, and I'm glad I didn't. But watch some high school soccer. Got to watch my alumni play and their region game. All the region games matter. You win all your region games, or you win most of them. You make it to playoffs. Got to watch them get a good win last Tuesday. And so just kind of thinking about David. I'm not sure how you know well, you did swim and dive in high school, right?
yep.
Right. Do they have like a playoff to the eventual state championship kind of format? Like how did that work?
No, you just have, like, about 5 or no, I think I swam 10 meets. I can't remember. We'd have a bunch of different meets, and I guess winning I don't re you just really wanted to get to times for state,
Yeah.
and then you had I know private school is different, because I went to a private school. We had
That's
our
right. Their own divisions.
I'm trying to remember what the meet was called, Metro. There were a
Hmm.
lot of Metro Atlanta teams, and we had a lot of bigger teams, and we tried to win Metro, but we'd always face these bigger teams that
Yeah.
we had no chance. But then we'd get to state, and you had to make state cuts, and then you'd score, and then
Yeah.
you go into finals. In fact, back-to-back state champs, Wesleyan's Wolves were when
Yeah.
my
Okay.
sophomore year and
Yeah.
junior year, so I got
That's
2
great.
rings, not with me, but hopefully Nick can get his first coaching soccer. Um,
Yes. Yes.
but
I mean, and the pathway is there. It's not as big as the NCAA tournament. No, you don't start at around a 64. That'd be awesome if we did. Me and the coaches were talking about that. Like, back the other week. Will be awesome. We get to play more of the schools. But the way it works now is we start at with a around the 32, right? And then we play so obviously the way it's formatted in Alabama, it's also the same in most other states too. We got our area and we play the same 3 teams twice to qualify for playoffs. Our area is super bad. Matter of fact, we have a game with them tomorrow. And most of the time when we play this particular team
I hope
tomorrow
you don't
too.
jinx yourself.
Oh, it takes a lot more than jinxing to mess this up. The team we play tomorrow, we have mercy ruled since I've been a part of this program, and so and we've already played them once at the beginning of the season in our house, and mercy ruled them, and so that just kind of shows you how our area is. But the winner of area will host the first playoff game for the first round, and then the second round, the winner of area will play the runner-ups of a different area in 6A, of course, we're all 6A. And so obviously the first game that we host, like I said, for the first round, we'll play the runner up of the different area for the first game. Now, the area that we're supposed to play the runner up for is also kind of crap. Like the first team that we assume is going to win that area, they're pretty good. They always give us a good game. Um, but the runner up after that is, yeah, they could pull. Last year, they came super old fashioned with us and tried to get like a secondary goalkeeper when we played them last year, and just kept us. It was 0-0 the whole game, right? And we go to 2 overtimes, and in the second overtime, we put a goal in, we win the game. But the coach was super even we even talked to him after the game too. He was like, "Yeah, haven't done this in any of the film you guys seen. Obviously, we know that. I'm just gonna come in, and we're just gonna. They call it a sweeper." A guy that's not the goalkeeper, just to make sure he gets any of the balls that are up there, uh, that comes into their goal. And so obviously we weren't expecting that, and we still talk about it to this day. And so that the team is Benjamin Russell, and they're from Alexander City. They are the second runner up in that region that we're supposed to in that area we're supposed to play for the first round of playoffs. And so they might come up with something old fashioned again. It might keep us on our toes, but have a really good feeling about that game. Now where it gets interesting is the second round game is where we play, the runner up of a better area, like in Birmingham. It's got schools like uh uh Pelham, Chelsea, and I'm missing Briarwood, which is a really good Christian school too. And so all great schools at soccer. And so second round is where it gets interesting. I mean, the path is there. Obviously, as a coach, you believe you can beat anyone in the state. But it gets more interesting in the second round. Third round, I think, is when we start seeing winners of the different areas in Alabama. And so that'll be interesting. And then Final Four is in Huntsville, and it's all anything happens from there. And that's kind of what you tell the kids, right? Like anything can happen once you get in these tournaments. It's like March Madness, you know. So really excited for it. That all happens in late April, early May. So really excited for it. You know, what do you think? What do you think? Some good advice to some of these kids about tur- it's not even called a tournament, but playoff is. What do you think, Dave?
My advice to
Yeah.
these
What
kids,
would your advice be, Dave?
um, just go out there, really have fun. I
Yeah,
know some of these seniors will be their last
it will
games.
be.
Um, give it your all. Be grateful for what the ability God gave you that day, and that's all you can just prepare, go out there, and but once you get to game time, go kill it. And if you play the number 1 seed and you eventually lose, but you gave it your best, you only can be I know it's so hard to say you only can be happy with winning and losing, but what God gave you that day, a lot of people can't do the ability to play soccer that you just did and making it that far in the playoffs. So I think just go kill it and try to win, try to make some craziness happen, have fun. Remember, this could be your last time with your guys and try to win with each other. You're going to lose together, you're going to win together, one
Yeah,
or the other. So I just go kill it and try not to let the nerves get to you. I know nerves are a big thing every single time for my race. I had race when it got down to air metro and state. I'd only have 2 individual races. So that 200 race would always come up first before I
hmm
had my 500 later in the meet. That'd be my more nerve-wracking one, but I just had to tell myself, "Hey, did you've trained for this, you've done everything you can. Don't hold anything back, and you just gotta go for it and just be happy with what the ability God gave you that day." So, I really think you gotta hammer that home and tell those kids, "Hey, just go have fun and let's
yeah,
try to win. Gotta go try to go play Jaguar ball."
yeah. That's awesome, Dave. That's awesome. Could have said it better himself, right? And so, no, it's gonna be great. Just like I said, got some time in between. Like,
And make sure your players don't sell weed.
I know, right? We have to give them a warning about the beach trip too. Beach trip had to get canceled before my time with Northridge, but beach trip had to get canceled for some high school things happening on it, and so
Mm.
had to warn him. Topher had to. He loves Topher. Topher had to warn him about that today, and so and he said Topher said he will warn them every single day up until the beach trip too. So
Coach Topher, my guy.
and so, no, it's great though. It's great. So that's when I'm not watching basketball and stuff like that. This is what I'm thinking about. I got to give you a piece of my life there for a second. So yeah,
Excited here. I hope you guys do really well on your beach trip, and I hope
yeah,
you guys just keep chugging along and go far in the playoffs, Nick.
yeah. Oh, well, do, well, do.
But I know it's late. It's Monday night. It's 9:50. Wow.
Maybe it's got 8 a.m. in the morning.
That's you're an asshole. So, but I guess any last thoughts? Anything else we want to talk about? Will we just
Alabama player. My message. My last thought is
last message you want to get out?
message to Alabama. Uh, go play your ball. Go play your game on. Kind of what David said about the Jackson and the go play Bama ball, right? Go do that. And that I think in my heart I feel that should be enough to beat Michigan. And that's all I got. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, so we die. Remember, from the great Pat McAfee, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change your life. You never know what someone's going
Yeah.
through, and just that little smile or some words of encouragement can really
Yes.
make somebody's day or change their life. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for all listening to this. Thank you for letting us do this every couple weeks, every week
Yeah.
that we get
And
to. We always have fun and we're always trying to learn. So please leave a comment down or leave advice, send a text to us to see what we can do better and what we need to keep the same and what we can change. Hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Stay safe and remember, roll tide. Have a great night,
Roll
everybody.
Tide.